So welcome to the latest episode of Gallifrey Pirate Radio, where we're discussing Season 7B of Doctor Who. And I am your host, Davey Beauchamp, and I'm joined by...
Angela Pritchett.
And Drew Meyer.
So, we are jumping into Hyde. This is episode 9 of this season. This is the sort of Victorian ghost story.
No.
Not Victorian?
No,
it's not Victorian.
1974.
Oh, God, yeah. This is after World War II?
It is after World War II. 1974.
Yeah. 74. Wow, 74.
74.
That's 2 years before I was born.
Yeah.
No, honestly, now that we're saying dates here, I'm wondering if any of these dates, if we actually go back and look in, like, Doctor Who, what was filmed those years, episode-wise, if, there's any clues.
Well, there's a great significance with this one.
Yeah, I know, but, it's just hitting me. I wonder if, for the overall story of Clara and 7B, if these dates will play into the bigger picture. Because it seems like they are mentioning dates. Well, they didn't really do that in the space one, but I am digressing horribly with theories of Doctor Who and what's actually going on in this season and where it might be taking us. But what are your overall impressions of Hyde? We'll start with Angela this time.
I really liked this episode. There are certain things I didn't like, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was, it had moments that I was like, okay, this is kind of creepy. Especially with Clara in the house where she has the candle menorah thing in her hand. I knew that was totally the wrong word for what it was.
It's okay. Menorah, candelabra.
Yes, candelabra, works. There we go. And she's in the house and she turns around. And that was just kind of a good spooky shot, I thought. But no, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought that I can't remember any of the names of the characters. The girl.
Emma Grayling.
Thank you, Emma. I really liked her character and how she was an empath and all that. That was really, really cool. I thought that the professor was...
I can't remember his name.
I don't either. I thought he was...
DeGray Scott.
It was really cool, though. And then the pictures of the ghost. Like, the ghost... It was creepy looking, just the way that they made it look on the film. So, later on, you weren't quite so creeped out. You're like, oh, okay. But... until then, whenever you did kind of see it, it was kind of creepy, so I was excited for that. I will say I was really, really hoping it was going to be, like, scary, like, Blink scary, but...
So, let's jump to Drew to see what his first impressions of Hyde were.
Favorite episode of the season so far.
Really?
Of 7B.
Yeah, that's interesting.
In fact, I would put it up there with... Dinosaurs in a Spaceship for Series 7, just in the whole. Yeah. Everything that I liked about it, I really liked, and everything that I didn't like about it, I didn't dislike it enough to hurt what I liked about it, which is, cannot be said for every episode of this series. So, a big fan of it.
Okay, let's start with you, Drew. And what did you not like about this?
What I didn't like about it. I wasn't 100% thrilled with the third act. I felt some of the things were a little nebulous and not easily explained. Like the dimensional transfer into the echo dimension or shadow dimension, whatever it was. I understand the use of the empath to make that connection the first time, and using the psychic crystal from Metabolist 3. But there's like the circle in the ground. I don't still to this moment I don't understand that if he drew the circle because that spot was cold, or was the spot cold because he drew the circle, or the shimmering portal.
Yeah, I was a little off by that. I was wondering, did the shimmering portal be...
They kept calling it a well, so I just took it as they were looking for a well, and so he's like, it's coldest here.
Well, no, I thought... the reason why I got the cold thing is I watch a lot of the stupid, ghost reality TV shows, and even Supernatural. Whenever you get a cold spot, supposedly that's where the ghost is.
Sure.
But I did think it was... I was wondering, but because you drew that circle, is that where we got the shimmering circle as well?
Yeah, my confusion didn't come from using the kind of tropes of a ghost story. I mean, they used them all. Fantastic. I mean, everything you were expecting from a ghost story was in there.
Yeah.
Which is normally a problem because you kind of stuff it, but they did it perfectly. No problems with it. It's just the kind of the explanation of why it was there, making it from supernatural to science, needs a little bit of clarification. But I got it. The intention was completely understood, even if I didn't get the minutia of it. So I don't really have a problem with it.
No, yeah, I mean, I liked it. What did you not sort of care for with this episode?
Where he was in the third act of it. I was kind of... Well, one, I understand why the time traveler couldn't go back to where she was from, but she was a time traveler. She could have gone and chilled out somewhere else. She didn't have to stay there, and they kind of made it sound like, you're now staying here. The reason you're here is probably because you're a descendant of these two.
Yeah, did they actually keep... I think her name was Hilla. Did they keep Hilla in 1974 with her parents? Because if
her
that's
great-grandparents.
her great, because that's the
way they made it sound. Because she was like, "Well, I can't go back because I disappeared and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "You're a time traveler, though."
Okay, it's Professor Alex Palmer. Since you're curious about the professor's
Palmer.
name, well, the thing is, she had no time travel device.
I know, but she's a time traveler.
Actually, no, she's a device. She herself is a device to get a story moving, and
right.
She wasn't utilized as well as I think she could have been, because she herself, I didn't glean
They left a lot of questions with her.
A lot of questions, I didn't get any kind of personality. Maybe they'll use her again in some fashion. She certainly left it open enough, probably not, but yeah.
I just thought it odd that they'd be like, yes, these are probably your great-great-great-grandparents. You're going to live with them now for the rest of your life.
I didn't get the impression that she was staying with them. I had a feeling that he was dropping her off somewhere. But, all I know is she's not going back to where she was because everyone thought she was dead. That kind of reeked a little of, we can't go back to New York in 1938 because we can't. But it didn't annoy me. It was just kind of going, it's a slight flaw in an otherwise brilliant episode.
And that was the only thing. And then I think the only other thing was I always expect the monsters to look super duper scary.
Oh.
And then I see them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
The Broken Man up close, not as effective. The Broken Man
far away was effective. It was creepy. And even in the house where you kind of didn't realize what it was. In the house it was really creepy. But yeah, up close I was like, oh, you got punched a little too much as a kid, didn't you?
Wow. So, what did you guys like about this episode?
Ooh, no, we were just talking about dislikes.
Yeah.
I thought I said a lot of what I liked.
Well, I'll talk about the things I liked.
Yeah.
I thought the 1970s is an excellent period to put this together.
It was very dark shadowsy.
It was very dark shadows, but you know what I found out? So this is written by Neil Cross, who also did The Rings of Akatan. So if you've seen our show on The Rings of Akatan, you can tell that I wasn't the biggest fan of it, to put it lightly. However, after watching this episode, I am convinced of a statement I made during our previous podcast, that they just cut stuff, and had they not cut it, Akatan is the best argument this season for not doing single stories. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't do single stories. I'm saying they should have saved that story for a season where they're doing two. It was good enough that they could have expounded on it, and I think it would have been one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who. It's just, I think that's one of the reasons, having gone back and watched it, one of the reasons I didn't like that episode much, other than the huge, terrible plot holes, is that it had so much potential and it left me short. So, Neil Cross, read an article with him where he said that he wanted the characters of Palmer and Grayling to originally be characters from the original Quatermass series, the show that Doctor Who is based off of. So he was essentially creating a Doctor Who Quatermass crossover in honor of the 50th. And I think that's really a great idea. And through legal reasons, they couldn't do that. Obviously, this is an homage to Pertwee's era. I mean, there are more Pertwee references in this episode than there are Troughton episodes in the Troughton episode, or certainly Baker references in the Baker episode, and we'll get to that next. But I like the acting. Stupendous. DeGray Scott I wish you had been Wolverine. I mean, he just did a fantastic job. I am currently at a loss. I know her name is something Rain. She's on Call the Midwife. The actress who played Emma Grayling is going to be Verity Lambert in the Adventures in Space and Time.
Jessica Rain.
Jessica Rain, yeah. So, great. This is the first episode that Jenna Louise Coleman filmed. It's the first episode they filmed of the season.
Mm-hmm.
She did a fantastic job. Great chemistry with these two.
I think this might have actually been her audition one too.
Oh, from that piece.
Yeah,
really good. I enjoyed it. The bit with her and the TARDIS calling it a cow, it appearing as her, excellent. Really, I almost feel like I'm more interested in the TARDIS Clara relationship than the Clara Doctor relationship at this point in time. They certainly have made that more tantalizing and interesting to me. I thought the horror aspects of it were great. I thought the science explanation was really well done. And I'm very okay with the ending. I actually really enjoyed the ending.
Honestly, the ending I thought was great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if you can see this, but I'm getting a little bit of cat love.
Yeah. No, honestly, I thought it was a great twist.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great twist that it was actually, two alien lovers separated by dimension. And I thought that was absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm kind of curious about where they came from.
I don't care.
Well, no, I mean, that's just me,
Yeah.
I like backstory on some things. But, I don't ever have to know that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fine. But no, I thought it was a really nice twist on the ghost story aspect. It was actually, them, two aliens trying to get back to one another. I thought it was quite beautiful.
Yeah. I had a thought. This is kind of fun. I thought very rarely in Doctor Who do they stop the story to travel outside of the story arc, especially in a 45-minute story, because it's so distracting. You can't just jump into the TARDIS, disappear. But the whole taking pictures of that spot throughout time,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
So brilliant. But that moment with Clara and the Doctor at the end of the Earth, where she says, "We're just ghosts to you."
Yeah.
It made me think of what was the second episode after Rose? It was the End of the World, End of the Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it made me think of Eccleston and Piper above the Earth, watching the Earth basically burn.
Oh, wow, I never thought about that.
Them on the surface of the planet being. I thought that was kind of cool. Oh. Speaking of another connection to that, Hyde, this is such a stupid nerd thing to say, I apologize. Hyde is the shortest Doctor Who title next to Rose. So, let me ask you guys this, and maybe you were going to ask this. And
No.
Go ahead with these things that you liked about it before I jump in on jump a tangent. What do you think the title meant?
I don't know, because they changed the title 3 times.
More than that, I think.
I remember hearing the power of Hex or something.
Something
was
of
one
the
them.
Hex, yeah.
Then it was. I can't remember. Before Hyde, it was one other thing. Or. I can't remember what it was right before it became Hyde, because I was like, why do they keep changing the name of this episode? And the first one, the Hex one.
Phantom of the Hex.
Yeah.
Phantom of the Hex.
And the Hider in the House.
The Hider in the House.
Yeah, see, that one makes more sense
The
to
Hider
me.
in the House. Well, here's the thing. Hyde's really interesting as a title. And again, I keep on thinking of things I really like about this episode, and the more I think about it, the more I appreciate it. It's kind of about hiding. It's more like a verb. It's not what's hiding in the house, but what everyone is hiding from each other. The Doctor.
Oh, that's good.
The Doctor's hiding because he's obviously You have that moment where the Doctor and Clara. Oh, okay, dislike. Sorry, I gotta jump to the dislike. I can't believe you didn't mention this.
Jump in.
Ghostbusters. Terrible.
Oh, see, I'm
terrible.
I am the opposite. I loved it.
Terrible.
I loved it.
Well, it's okay. You can be wrong. It was terrible. It wasn't delivered well.
I'm not saying it was delivered well. It made me laugh.
They made that gag already, didn't they? Didn't Tennant and Piper do it?
No.
I guarantee you, if you go back, I don't know if it's my memory cheating or not, but I'm pretty sure at one point in time in another episode they make a Ghostbusters reference.
Well,
I want to say it's an army of ghosts.
They might have made
a Cybermen precursor.
They might have made one, but I don't think they made
the exact same one.
Yeah.
Well, it felt that way.
Oh no. Okay. Actually, yeah. While invested in the ghost ships, the 10th Doctor referenced the theme song when he brought out a device to track them, asking Rose who you gonna call, to which she replied, Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Emma Grayling is not hiding her feelings for Dr. Palmer, Professor Palmer. It's very obvious that she likes him, and it was so well done. So well done. He's obviously hiding his feelings for her. The Doctor's hiding his reasons for going to see Grayling, which I think is great, because you go... It's one of those things where you always wonder, like, for instance, in the last one we were just talking about, which was Cold War. Why are they on the sub? Oh, they just got it wrong. That is kind of like, oh, they just kind of certainly show up, that's okay. But this... You wonder what they're doing, and then when it's revealed, it adds to the story, as opposed to it just being a whoops.
Which, bringing that up, did you find that fascinating that there was nothing, that the psychic got nothing?
That she read the Doctor instead of Clara?
I don't know if she was telling him the truth, because she warned. Oh, and there's that moment with the two of them together, which was, it was okay. The two of their conversation, I think, was a little weird. It was nothing compared to the conversation that Palmer and the Doctor had. My God, I just want to see the Alex Palmer story. Like, they need their own spin-off. She said he has a sliver of ice in his heart. She might have not told him anything to protect Clara.
Well, see, for me, it makes me think more Clara isn't the important factor here. It's her mother.
Maybe.
That's just me. I don't know. I think, I mean, this being Moffat and how much he likes misdirecting things, I mean, I could totally be wrong. I think the mother's the key, not Clara.
I'm trying not to come up with harebrained conspiracy theories, though I do really like my most recent one. I don't know if you read the one I posted on the website last week.
I did. It was fun.
I'm actually kind of in favor of that one, but...
Though I did just catch something going over the notes about the episode. Clara calls whiskey the 11th most disgusting drink ever invented. I think it's interesting that she chose the number 11.
Well, there's an 11 reference in every single episode.
Well, yeah, I mean, just also him being the 11th Doctor and everything.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about... well, let's go over the Third Doctor references in here.
Oh, boy, Third Doctor references. Okay, well, it takes place in 1974, which is the last season that they were recording with Pertwee.
Yep. You can throw out any if you know any.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you keep going.
I think my favorite might be they call Grayling a companion, and she says assistant, because technically they were assistants, not companions at that point in time, which I thought was really good and kind of under the radar. Obviously, there's Spidergate. The Metabolus 3,
which is the big one,
which is the big one, and of course, but the fans are up in arms about that, or not up in arms about that, the mispronunciation.
Yeah, that's the one I've heard the most out of, was the mispronunciation.
It made me sit up when I heard it, but honestly, I don't care. I am 100% certain that was mispronounced on purpose, just to get a rise out of us. It could be saying that Pertwee mispronounced Metabelius in his theories. But here's the thing with Metabelius, it's such an important... I've always wanted them to revisit that, because it was the first planet that there was ever kind of a story arc. Because, I think it was... I think he mentions it in every single season. I could be wrong. It might be just his the last two seasons that Pertwee did. But, they mention Metabelius quite a bit. And I will always call it Metabelius, but it doesn't mean that I think that they were wrong in doing so. And just having the blue crystal was pretty cool. I felt there was one more really good one, and maybe you guys remember what it was. I thought the
Ooh.
reference to the Baker Street Irregulars was a reference to Pertwee's time as a spy, until I realized that it was in fact Christopher Lee, the actor, was one of the Baker Street Irregulars and a part of the League of Ungentlemanly Warfare, or whatever it's called.
Well, there's actually an Adric reference in this one too.
Is there an Adric
Yes,
reference?
I'm going through the notes from the people that are even more diehard than me and Drew could ever imagine being. The Doctor refers to. Oh wait, no, sorry. Clara answers a question of the Doctor by saying, "That's the chap." This is the same answer that the Fourth Doctor gave Adric. Gave when Adric asked if Earth is a planet with all the oceans.
Huh.
I don't know if that was an actual, I don't know if that was an actual connection, but that's something that that diehard fans, diehard fans
did
notice.
not catch that in any way, shape, or form. So.
And honestly, I've watched Legalopolis, I don't know how many times, because it's one of my favorites.
Is that from?
Yeah, that was
Legalopolis?
a dialogue from Legalopolis. Because everybody knows why I love that episode so much. If you know anything if you've watched enough GPR. So, how would you go about rating this episode?
Very strong 4.5 stars, or 4.5 Derpy TARDISes.
About 4, yeah.
And I would go about 3 Derpy TARDISes on this one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a solid episode. I really,
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
I've rewatched it several times, and to me, that's a big part of it. Your cat is drinking out of.
No, he's going after the turtle, and I must check on that in a second.
Okay, well.
So, this is. Do you have anything else you want to say about this episode?
No, we're good.
Okay, so this is Gallifrey Pirate Radio signing off. Peace.